To order the Board of Finance meeting, January 15, 2026. It's 6 p.m. Public comments?
Can we turn these on? I'm sorry. Are they supposed to be on?
They are.
Yeah.
Because they're not red. Okay. Sorry.
No public comment.
No public comments. Today we have Catherine from O'Connor Davis. We're going to present the audit report.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Catherine Patnod. I'm the partner in charge of your audit this year. So I'm just going to go through the presentation of the June 30th, 2025 audit. So what we'll go over are highlights of the annual comprehensive financial report, highlights of the single audit, required communications to the board, recommendations, as well as new GASB statements for future consideration. So taking a look at the financial statements, you received an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, so that's a clean opinion, the one you're looking for. The MD&A or management's discussion and analysis is always a good financial highlight of the financials, so if you want to take a look at that, that's a really good place to start. I just wanted to highlight some changes from your 2024 audit. First, there was the implementation of GASB statement number 101 on compensated absences. The standard increased the liability of compensated absences and decreased your net position on the government-wide financial statements by $1.9 million. So this is a standard that we implemented on all of our clients this year as required. So we've seen a lot of increases in that liability across the board. As your new auditors, we talked to Tony about how the financial statements were classified. So we ended up reclassifying the capital non-recurring fund from non-major to major, and that's really just due to the changing size of the fund. It was required to be reported as major this year. The common investment fund, we changed from a permanent fund to a special revenue fund because the resources of that fund are restricted but weren't actually held in a formal trust. And then the education programs, special recreation programs, and police private duty funds previously were combined with the general fund, and they got moved to be separate special revenue funds, as they do have their own resources that were restricted or committed for a specific use.
Could I just ask a question as a non-finance person? What is capital non-recurring from non-major to major? What is that?
So the way we audit the financial statements, depending on the size of the fund, if it's large enough, it has to be considered a major fund, so we audit it on its own. Whereas if you look at Exhibit C and D in the financials, there's a column that says other governmental funds. All of those are the non-majors. So we audit those as a group together.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sorry, is there any implication from changing that? It makes sense to do. Is there any?
Nope, it's just something we see from time to time as funds get more money in or spend more money. That might just change the classification.
Based on size.
Yeah. So taking a look at the government-wide activity, which is on Exhibits A and B of the financials, there was a special item that was separated out for a loss on disposal of asset of $2.3 million. This was due to the removal of the former country club structures. There were also capital asset additions of $5.1 million. Some of the larger ones included the center gym, feature roof replacement, and the police dispatch center renovation. Your general obligation bonds overall decreased by $475,000. This was due to principal payments of $1.2 million, partially offset by an $800,000 issuance of bonds. Your net pension liability in the MERS plan decreased $1.7 million to $14.2 million, just due to fluctuations in the plan. And your net OPEB liability decreased $459,000 to $16.1 million, and that plan is currently 33.25% funded. We also wanted to show your net position, total net position of $56 million. Which includes $72.9 million. That's your net investment in capital assets. So that's your capital assets, net of any debt related to those. And then your restricted net position is $1 million.
You may not know this, but what asset had a value of $2.3 million at the country club that we removed?
It was the, we removed all of the structures that were there, plus we determined that the main clubhouse is obviously not a useful structure. So because we removed all the little structures, some of which we were using, some of which we weren't, we decided to remove the entire asset. Just the buildings, not the land.
Was that still on an amortization schedule or depreciation schedule last year?
In '24,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Do we have anything else that's still
Not for the
depreciating?
country club, no,
I'm surprised it was that much last year.
yeah.
How many years was that
Um,
out?
I mean, that's been out of service for 10 years.
yeah, it was
It's probably
probably,
30.
yeah, it was probably 12.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Taking a look at your governmental funds on the GAAP basis, your exhibits C, D, and E. The general fund, the fund balance increased $272,000. We'll talk about that a little more under the budgetary highlights, but overall you had total fund balance in the general fund of $10.6 million, which included unassigned fund balance of $9 million, which is 15.5% of your general fund expenditures. And then the capital non-recurring fund, the fund balance increased $488,000. This is just due to the timing of capital expenditures versus the funding. You received $2.3 million in grants, $1.9 million in transfers into the fund. This was partially offset by $635,000 of debt service and $3.2 million of capital outlay. And you can see here your committed fund balance in the fund totaled $877,000, which included equipment and road construction of $506,000, building maintenance projects, police capital projects, senior center, and other projects. Taking a look at the general fund budgetary highlights, these can be found on RSI 1 in the financials. Your original to final budget increased $146,000. This was increased $172,000 for the center building asbestos abatement and $265,000 for various other increases, which you can see in the MD&A. This was partially offset by a $291,000 decrease to contingency to fund capital projects and other town needs. Also in the budgetary highlights, total revenues were above budget by $223,000, mainly in income from investments, which was $328,000 above budget. There is also a planned appropriation of fund balance of $800,000. Total expenditures were below budget by $666,000 due to public works by $178,000 and Amity by $164,000. And then your budgetary expenditures did include encumbrances of $688,000, which was higher than last year's encumbrances of $465,000. Taking a look at the single audit, the federal single audit, we tested the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds, which was primarily your direct ARPA funding, but there were some other small ARPA grants that were passed through the state, like the school mental health and senior center, and we had no findings or question costs on that. For the state single audit, we tested the Small Town Economic Assistance Program through DECD and the Town Aid Road Program, and we had no findings or question costs on that either. So some required communications to the board. You would have received a separate letter on this, but this just describes that our responsibility is to form and express an opinion about whether the financials are presented fairly in all material respects. It discusses significant estimates, the significant ones primarily related to the pension and OPEB or other post-employment benefit liabilities, as well as the compensated absences liability. We mentioned that the disclosures and the financials were neutral, consistent, and clear. We had no uncorrected misstatements and no material corrected misstatements. We did request and receive management representations, and it also discusses that we are independent of the town. So taking a look at our recommendations for the year, we did remove last year's significant deficiency on grant revenue. We didn't notice any recording issues this year. So our recommendations are just kind of general things that would be good, but we didn't think it was, a full control weakness. So the first one is on the education purchasing and accounts payable. We recommend that the business office restrict vendor setup, access in the accounting system for segregation of duties, so that the person inputting vendors is not the same person preparing invoices. We also recommend establishing a formalized vendor approval process. And the other recommendation is on education journal entries. We just recommend that the business office implement a formal review and approval process for all manual journal entries. And the final thing I wanted to go over is future considerations. There's 3 GASB standards that are effective in the coming years. GASB 103 will be effective for next year on the financial reporting model improvements. I don't expect this to be a huge change to your financials, but for the MD&A, it does clarify and update guidance for preparation to improve the quality of the analysis of changes from the prior year. So you'll just see more in-depth discussion in the MD&A. And it also removes the budgetary comparison information from the MD&A, and it moves it to the notes to the RSI. So you'll just see that with the budgetary information in the 26 audit.
I'm sorry, will that be audited then in that case, if it moves out of the MD&A?
Yeah, they're both considered required supplementary information,
Okay.
so that'll be something we're looking at.
Thanks.
And then if you had proprietary funds, that would define non-operating revenues and expenses there. GASB 104 will also be effective in 26. This is on disclosures of certain capital assets. This will mean that your right to use lease and subscription assets just have to be presented separately by major asset class. So they'll just be listed. So if you have leases on equipment, leases on a building, those would just be shown separately. So not a big difference. And then if you had any capital assets held for sale, they would have to be disclosed in the financial statement footnotes. And the last one, GASB 105, just came out. This one will be effective in fiscal 27. This one's on subsequent events. So if you had anything that happened after the financial statement date, it just clarifies what is a recognized and a non-recognized event and establishes specific note disclosures. So again, I don't really expect to see anything significantly different with that one. And if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer.
Just one question, if you don't mind explaining what GASB 101 does in terms of.
Sure. So compensated absences is your liability for vacation and sick time that employees have accrued. In the past, under the old standards, it only had to be accrued if there was going to be some sort of payout when employees were terminated or retired. And now GASB requires that you consider the usage in the future. So how much of that accrued time is expected to be used, how much is expected to be paid out. So that's why the liability increased, because in the past, no one had to consider that usage. But it's just showing on your government-wide statements. You're not going to see it, in your budget or in that Exhibit C or D.
Makes sense. Any questions? All right. None?
Thank you.
Right, thank you.
Yeah. To make a motion to approve the audit financials? No? All right. Next up, our administrative officer, director's report.
Okay. Let Sean go first.
Yeah, let Sean go first, yeah. You can do that.
I think you want to listen in on all this stuff, no?
Are we going to the ladder truck
Yeah.
presentation? Okay.
Agenda.
Would you like a motion to
It's a good idea.
make that be, I'll make that motion that we move that up to the present
Second.
time since the chief is here.
All in favor again? This is so cool.
Did this just get put in today?
Today.
Wow,
That's right.
whoa.
Pretty cool.
We all will have normal necks for the rest of our lives.
We actually look at Sean now as opposed to.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
So we're here to talk about this deal we have on a possible new ladder truck, which is it's actually a used truck, even though it's brand new. It's out of Easton, Mass. They're getting rid of it even though it's brand new because they had some budget cuts up there where they got rid of, or they're moving out 11 firefighters. They're privatizing the ambulance, they're shrinking everything, so you're dealing with a union and everything up there, and what they wanted to do go with more a quint. A quint would be, it carries more water than this truck does and carries more hose. So that's what they're more going after. So this truck was actually sitting up in an empty firehouse in Easton, Mass since
What's in Massachusetts?
it is. So it's been there
Thinking
since
it was
the
here.
beginning of July, the end of June. And actually, the truck just went yesterday back to the dealer in Massachusetts, like 15 minutes away. So the truck's not even at that firehouse anymore. So we could go through the presentation. I don't know if you want to go through the whole thing like we did with the Board of Selectmen. It's totally up to you. But we'll start, and if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. So basically who we are, we're 100% volunteer. We have 45 members. We have a really strong junior program right now, which is really good. So what happens is the junior program is 14 to 18. So once they turn 18 years old, they have to come off the junior program for insurance purposes. And at that point, they join the fire department. So that's worked out really well for us, even especially right through COVID, which was a great thing for us. So our membership is growing and we're getting new blood in. We were established back in 1929, so we're celebrating our 97th year as a volunteer organization this year. And we respond 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. These are some of the things of what we do under fire suppression. That's basically if we got a house fire, building fire, we go and put it out. Life and property and rescue situations. And then under rescue, we do search and rescue. Rope rescue, extrication if we have people and we need to cut them out of vehicles and extricate them from vehicles, or extricate them from some type of issue where we've had to do that in the past, where we've had somebody get stuck in a cabinet and we had to cut a cabinet apart. So you see definitely everything. So the other thing to do is we are EMT certified in the department. We do storm standby and a lot of community service around town. So these are some of the types of calls we go on. You can read through them. But those pictures are our current tower truck right now that we have. We did a rescue on the bottom picture, and that was actually at a house fire on the upper one. So this is an interesting slide, and we take it for granted, but since we made this presentation at the Board of Selectmen meeting, we've had a lot of positive feedback on it, not knowing really what we do or how, because we have a lot of people think we have a lot of trucks, or we have bigger trucks than some departments, and we do. And reason being is we have to truck our water in because only 10% of the town has hydrants. So when you look at T8 and T5, those are our tanker trucks. Those carry 3,000 gallons of water apiece, and we drop big portable ponds, 3,000-gallon ponds in the middle of the road, and we take those tankers and we dump water into those tankers, into those ponds, and then they go up and they fill up at the closest hydrant, which a truck hooks up to the hydrant and pumps into the tankers, and we constantly make that shuttle. Now, during the initial calls, we'll call for mutual aid, which will get Bethany, Prospect, Ansonia, wherever we need tankers from, and we'll probably we could run 6-7 tankers at a time, so we are constantly making a loop, because engine 3 would be in the driveway along with the tower truck, and we usually flow on the average about 1,500 gallons of water a minute. So 3,000 gallons sounds like a lot of water, but once we start flowing, we're actually moving quite a bit of water. We're really good at it. And when we go to Orange has a hydrant on every street basically, except for the one that borders Woodbridge, but they have hydrants on every corner, where Bethany has less hydrants than we do, and when we go up there, we end up drafting out of a pond, and we shuttle water with them. So This is our current truck. It's a 1992.
Sean, I'm sorry, just to
I'm
interrupt.
sorry.
When you say pond, you are talking about the swimming pool type of pond, or?
No, up in Bethany, we do the same setup as we do here with the ponds in the road. The only difference up in Bethany is they don't really have hydrants unless we're close, and it depends on where the fire is in Bethany. We would actually go and we actually suck the water out of an actual pond, like Peck Pond up in Bethany, and there's a couple other ponds that we would pull water out of.
But the ponds you're talking about at a fire, those are sort of like swimming pools?
Yeah, they're
Not
like
the
mini
ones-
swimming pools. That's basically what they are. They're about this high, and they're probably 15 by 15. So, the current truck we have is a 1992 100-foot LTI tower. It's 48 feet long. And as we go through the presentation, the new truck that we're proposing is 40 feet long, so we save 8 feet, which is big because the truck is more maneuverable. This truck, the current truck has a 1,500 gallon per minute pump. It's currently 34 years old. It was purchased by the Fire Association as a temporary solution back in 2017. It replaced the 1976 ladder truck that we currently had back then, and that truck just completely failed. And we thought this was going to be more of a Band-Aid fix where we can get a few years out of it and in the meantime order a new truck. And at the time, a new truck was about 2 years out. And right now, it's more than 4 years. If we were to sign today, we wouldn't see a new ladder truck probably for a good solid 4 years. The repairs on this truck, they're getting costly. NFPA 1911 states that apparatus over 25 years old should be replaced or removed from service. So as you can see, this truck is 34 years old. The truck's totally unreliable. It failed the pump test in May of 25. We're trying to limp through this. So this truck rolled roughly 65 times last year, where if we had a truck that was more reliable that wasn't going to break down, we would have rolled this truck well over 200 times based on our call volume.
So Sean, in
Yes.
2017,
Yep,
we purchased a 23-year-old truck.
we did.
Okay. With a standard of 25 years to be replaced.
We did.
Okay.
That was what was available, and that's what, at the time, what the association could afford.
Yeah, yeah. But we knew that in 2 years it was basically going to be obsolete. Is that?
Well, we knew it was coming up on its age, and we were hoping to get 3 or 4 years out of it. We were not expecting where we are today.
Yeah.
Not another 9 years. So, right. You can see this is our current truck. It's actually out right now being fixed. You can see the hydraulic oil leaking from it. It's at the shop right now. They had to take the main pistons off the truck to go get them rebuilt and to fix them. Truck replacement benefits, the safety and reliability of having a newer truck. The features on the truck are, on the new truck, it's just technology. There's auto level, so the truck sets up a lot faster. Instead of taking roughly 5 or 6 minutes, this new truck would set up in roughly 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes max. And it would take one firefighter basically to set the truck up, where now it takes multiple guys to set it up and get it positioned. The ladder truck also, under ISO, we stuck this point in, and response areas of 5 buildings that are 3 stories or 35 feet or more in height, or have 5 buildings that need fire flow greater than 3,500 GPM, or any combination of these criteria should have a ladder company, and we actually have these. We have these buildings in town right now. And by having a ladder truck, we get the highest ISO rating. So ISO is Insurance Services Offices. That's how and we just went through this a year ago, and every 5 years we have to do it. That's how your insurance, your home insurance is rated, and that's the cost of your home insurance. So the better rating we have, the lower you pay for homeowners. The lower the rating we have for ISO, the more you pay in homeowners. These are just some statistics that were back in the 70s when the town at the time decided there was a need for a ladder truck. Population was roughly 7,600 people, where today it's over 9,800. Call volume, we were doing roughly 100 calls a year back then, and today we're doing over 500. The number of streets have increased from 208 to 234. The number of houses were at 2,200, where today we're over 3,100. Commercial buildings, we were at 70, today we were at 414, and that's an interesting number because when we started doing all these, I didn't think we had over 400 buildings in town, and we do. So elderly housing, we had 0. Today we have over 320 occupants. Amity High School, at the time, we have the new 55 and over on Bradley Road, the Toll Brothers, this is the older one. This should say 72 units, not 75. Amity High School was 150,000. Today it's almost 280. And Beach Road School had multiple additions on it, and it's tallying 161,000 feet. And planning and zoning just passed 804 Fountain Street, and that's interesting to us because that's the first 4-story building in town, which kind of changes the way we have to operate and what we're set up for. So we don't really have, at the time, we don't really have a ladder, even though they're looking to purchase a 50-foot ground ladder for us. That takes 6 firefighters to move and set up, and it's just not practical, especially in a volunteer department. And then you can see the real estate net investment in 1975 to today, and the increase is $1,450,787,000. So you can see how we would still use a roof ladder in some occasions where we'd have to cut a hole in the roof, and it's safer for the guys to use a bucket truck to cut a hole in the roof since we don't have to put anybody on the roof, and we're going to get into that on the next slide. But just to go on about it, when you attack a fire, it's not just about going in the front door, going in a door and hitting the fire. What you want to do almost simultaneously is you want to vent to get the heat and the gas out and hit the fire at the same time. So you're releasing all that energy and all the heat and gases right up through. So that's how you end up putting the fire out, not just necessarily hitting with water. So it is important to do this type of ventilation, and we do this roughly 95% of the time on all house fires or building fires. So as you can see, roof construction has changed over the years. Back in the 70s in the older homes, and even some of the newer homes, not a lot, but they have that ridge board, as you can see up in the upper diagram. That ridge board's important because if you look at the picture with the ladder with the hooks on it, we carry these ladders. So what we do is we get up on the roof, we slide this ladder up, it hooks over the ridge board, and we climb up and we cut our hole that way. Where today's construction, you can see the trusses, and there is no ridge board, and there is no ridge board on that. So what you're relying on to hold that ladder in place is just basically 1/2-inch plywood. And those gusset plates on the trusses fail pretty quick. They fail roughly 1,000 degrees. They melt off and fall off, and the whole structure could collapse at any time. So you can see these are this is a training we did at the center building where we had to set the ladders up, and this was to rescue a construction worker that got hurt on top of the roof, and we had to take him down. And there's a tripod and ladders, and this whole setup takes roughly a half hour or so to put up and do. Where if we had a bucket truck, basically we would be able to set the truck up, go up, sit down, and then clip the Stokes basket and lower right down, and we'd have the person down probably in about 5 minutes. So it's a big thing. 4 fighters are needed to make entry into a rescue. 2 in, 2 out rule, meaning no one person just goes into a burning building. We send 2 guys all the time together in case one gets disoriented or lost or has an issue. We have another guy with them, and we have 2 other guys out ready to go in if there's an issue to get them. So in a volunteer department, and we're shuttling water, it takes additional personnel for the tankers because we need to put a driver in each tanker, put a driver in an engine at the hydrant. So you could just see all the workings that we have to do when we do have a fire. These are some buildings in town. This is the sports center down on Bradley Road. You can see how big the roof is. We wouldn't put somebody up on this roof with a ladder. We would use an aerial device on this roof because this roof is more prone to collapse at a quicker rate. The bowling alley is probably one of the worst roofs. That's a bowstring roof where by the time we would get the call and get down there, the first truck rolls out of the firehouse at the 5-minute mark. That's what the whistle is. You'll hear the initial whistles, and then 5 minutes later, you'll hear another whistle. That tells us the first truck is rolling at that point because everybody responds to the firehouse, gets geared up, and gets on the truck for accountability purposes.
Sean, how many volunteers do you get on average per call? Or does it depend on what the call is?
It depends on what the call is. So if it's something serious, we'll have people leave work. So at an actual fire, when it comes in as a confirmed fire, we'll probably have close to 30 guys.
Okay.
So they'll leave, but they come at different points throughout the call. But you can have 30, 35 guys there. So back in the 60s and 70s, they were building houses in town roughly 2,000 square feet, where today we have homes that are 6,000 plus. We have actually a home just under 10,000 square feet. And more than 15% of the homes in our town are greater than 4,000 square feet. So when we look at buildings or houses, what we have in town is we basically have, some of these houses are basically like mini buildings when we look at them. This is a, let me see if I can play this. This is a video of Bradley Road. This is the Toll Brothers complex, so this is new, like we all know about. This is a drone video, and I'm just gonna fast forward this a little bit so you can see the size, what's going on. So this was done 2 years ago roughly, and they've been working on the second half of it. So as you can see, this video is roughly 2 weeks old now, 2.5 weeks old. So this is where it stands. But this is 72 units. When it gets
How tall
complete.
are these?
These buildings are,
Two-stories, or
I
they
think they
three?
fall under the old code, which they're, no, they can't be more, I think they can't be more than 42 feet tall. Or 45 feet, I'm sorry, 45 feet tall. So the other thing that we deal with in the fire department, this is the JCC, you can see the solar panels on the JCC. There's solar panels on top of the JCC, and we had the fire back in 2016 on this, and the panels at the time were an issue because this building is made out of steel and concrete, so it likes to contain the fire, it doesn't do it, but just to put it in perspective, this is a building that had sprinklers on it. And if this was wood, we would have had fire definitely pushing out the roof on this, and we would have seen it probably for, you would have seen the smoke probably for miles on this. Since it was steel and concrete, it contained it more to the basement, but between the basement and the first floor, we actually had the concrete pop and the beam sagged and failed from the heat. And they, to fix it, they had to cut the beam out, take the floor out, and they had to reset everything back in. But if this was a wood structure, that fire would have been a lot more devastating. But this is a building that is fully sprinklered, and it's funny because everybody thinks sprinklers put fires out. Sprinklers gives you the ability, gives people extra time to get out of the building and try to contain the fire. A sprinkler system is not designed to put the fire out. So it's a big misconception, but they were extremely lucky back in 2016 on this. But this is Beecher Road School, so you can see all the solar. This is on the pool, and this is throughout the building on Beecher. So what's a safety issue for us is, even though there's shutoffs on these buildings for the solar, but those panels are still energized. Doesn't matter day or night. They hold energy into it. It doesn't go into like a battery, and when you shut the panels off, the panels don't de-energize. The panels are always energized. So in the middle of the night or even during the day, if we have a fire on this roof, we have to be careful of this, because if we have a firefighter that puts an axe through it, or we have to cut a hole, or somebody falls on one of these panels, they can get electrocuted. So it's something new we're dealing with. And you can see in this picture where that box in the left-hand corner, that's a disconnect. This is on Benai Jacob. All these solar panels, you can see how many are up there, and a lot more buildings are getting more and more having solar. So when we go back to that original slide about venting is a crucial thing of what we do, and these solar panels are actually an obstacle for us that we have to deal with. You can see some of the solar on Amity High School, but also at Amity, there's a microgrid over there. So I don't know if everybody knows the microgrid and the fuel cell. So so that's something new that got installed roughly 10 years ago. So we're dealing with that. This is Amity High School, some aerial photos of it. This is a drone video of the high school. I just used some of this. So you can see the mechanicals on top of the roof. So we've been up on this roof before where we had some RTUs, the rooftop units that do the air conditioning and the heating fail. Some of the fans have failed. So we've been up on this roof quite a bit over the years. And a ladder truck would just make the job a lot easier and safer to get up there. So some of the other buildings in town that we look at is 330 Amity Road, the Linden. It's 87,000 feet. It's 3 stories tall. And you can see in the right-hand picture and even on the bottom picture, so it's not about just why do we need a 100-foot ladder, it's how far we are away from the building, so we have obstacles in our way. So you have landscaping, you have a sidewalk, you have parked cars, and then the truck would go after. So we would need enough to get over to actually get to the building for the ladder to be useful. The senior housing on Lucy Street, 21 Bradley Road, it's 88,000 feet. 21 Bradley Road is made of all wood. That went up back in the late 90s. That's a total wood structure. There's a lot of firewalls in it, but that is a building we do look at. 225 Amity Road, the Willows, was built in 97. 1 Bradley Road, the picture to the right is on Research Drive, at the end of Research Drive. The GCC, which is 145,000 feet, and 245 Amity, which where Saloon is and the shops are, at 33,000 feet. Then you have some of the other bigger buildings in town that we look at. So collapse zone, rule of thumb is the height of the building, we have to be 1.5 times away. We should be 1.5 times away. Does that always happen? No, but that's what the rule of thumb is, and that's what we try to do. So if the building's 45 feet tall, which our zoning reg was before they changed it, and it's going back, we'd have to be 67.5 feet away, and then we would need minimum of an 81 foot stick just to get to the top of the building there. Here it is again. This is another building on Research. This is the old building down there. Collapse zone. So mutual aid, we have mutual aid agreements with Bethany, Seymour, Orange Prospect, Ansonia, Derby, Oxford, and Hamden. So we help them, they help us. So when we need something, they send it. When they need something, we send it. So probably about 2.5 weeks ago, we went to a fire up in Bethany on, I think it was on Grant Road, all the way up. You got to go on 42, and then it's your first left. We had a fire up there, and they needed tankers and an engine. Just to make that ride on a normal day, even with lights and siren, it takes us roughly 20 minutes to get there. And then remember, the first truck doesn't roll out in 5 minutes until the first truck rolls out. So we're like a 25-minute. When they call for us immediately, and it still took us roughly 25 minutes to get there. So, and the same thing happens with us. It's not right off the hop. It's not right off the bat where we're going to get a truck in 5 or 6 minutes. So when we went to the JCC fire, we called for a ladder truck. New Haven was busy. They couldn't send it at the time. We called for Orange's ladder truck, and Orange, they're coming off the post road, and it took them roughly 20 minutes to get to the GCC. By that time, everything's set up. We're trying to put the fire out. What we had to do is we had to actually shut the main water line down that feeds the trucks from Amity Road to be able to get the truck up and over, and then we had to re-energize it. So that takes a few minutes to do, and it's not just a matter of shutting it. You have to drain the line so the truck can drive over it. So some of these are valuable to us and valuable to other departments, but you also have to realize it's not your first line. There is a time delay in this, and 20 minutes into it, a lot happens. A fire doubles in intensity roughly every 30 seconds, so that fire just keeps growing. It's not gonna wait for you to get the proper equipment there. This is the truck we're looking at. It's a 2425. The reason why it's a 2425, the cab and chassis is a 24 and the body is a 2025. It's a 115-foot T-Rex aerial. It was delivered June of 25. It's got a 300-gallon water tank, a 2,000 GPM pump. It has not been put in service like we talked about before. It was sitting in an empty firehouse, and right now it's actually sitting at the dealer. I talked to them today. This truck has a much faster setup time, and the hydraulics are a lot quicker, so everything moves a lot faster, and it's not jerky. It's really nice. It's even, and it sets up in roughly 2 minutes instead of 5 to 6 minutes, which our current aerial does. It's got a full warranty on it, and I don't know did Allison send that out today before she left, to everybody? So we sent the warranties out. It's a whole list. It's structural warranty, it's paint warranty, it's drivetrain. There's like 8 or 9 different.
Is that the spreadsheet?
Yeah. Oh no, it's something different. And if we were to purchase this truck today, if we went out and we went to purchase this truck today, the dealer is telling us, and Rosa Bauer is telling us, this truck would cost roughly between 2.6 and 2.7 million dollars, and it would take 4 years to build this truck, and there'd be escalators built into this, meaning, so today's cost is, let's say, it's $2.6 million. When our time comes up to build the truck, let's say it's in 3 years, and it went up 15% or 10%, we would have the option here. We have to come up with the other 10 or 15%, or we have the option just to back out, but then we start back at zero and we lose our place in line. These are some pictures of the truck. As you can see, it's brand new. It is coming down here next Tuesday night. So this is a good video if you guys have time to go on YouTube and look at it. This is Senator Hawley. They're grilling the fire truck manufacturers. Basically, there's three main truck manufacturers, and they control like 85% of the market. And the cost of trucks have skyrocketed since basically 2020, and to a point where it's almost ridiculous. And the lead times are 3 to 4 even plus years out. Just so if we have a truck that fails, usually back in 2014 we had a house fire, a truck failed, we had to push it out of the way, we brought another truck in to pump, and it was an important critical part. We almost lost the house. We were able to do it, but at that time we came right back to the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance. That truck was 23 years old. It failed. We need to replace it. The lead time on the truck was roughly 12 to 14 months. Before, years ago, to get a truck delivered to you was 280 days. Now we're looking roughly 3 to 4 years out on these trucks, and it's a really hard thing to budget for and to figure, because we need to roughly estimate when this truck is coming up. What's good about us is we usually try to get 25 years out of a truck. We start seeing major failures roughly at between 23, 24. We have major failures, and we usually come and say, hey, we need to order a new engine because the other one's not going to last. But the problem now is we have to order a truck. Usually we have to order a truck when it's roughly 22 years old, because we know historically that the trucks usually don't. We might get 25 years if we're lucky, but we're paying through the roof, and the truck is not reliable. You want to talk about this?
So there are a few ways to finance a truck. One way is to just obviously pay for the truck, which is not really an option here. Some towns bond for trucks. We are not A lot of towns are in the market often, and so to issue bonds for a truck is not really that big, heavy of a lift because they're in the market and borrowing millions and millions of dollars. And so to add another project doesn't really cost anything extra. In this case, we would have to pay fees associated with going to market, which could be $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. And the other way is to lease the truck, which we've historically done. So I've gotten pricing on 3 different terms. This is indicative rates, and what we will do is if you decide to move forward with this, we will issue bids to financing groups and banks to get the best rate. And so these are in arrears, which means that we would pay 1 year after we transfer the payment money for the truck, and mainly because we do not have funds in the budget to pay for the first payment. So you can see we have 5 years, which is 3.9%. You can see there the interest in the total payments, 7 years, 3.95%, and 10 years at 4.1%. Each lease has a non-appropriations clause in it, which essentially means, and this is how we've historically done it, which means that if the payment is not appropriated in the budget process for the upcoming year, then the town does not owe money on the lease, but then the leasing company will most likely take the truck. Not to mention the impact it would have on our credit rating, but that's how we've done the last few trucks, actually. Bond rates are probably low to mid 3s. Is where I price this. So maybe rates are maybe a little lower, but the cost to issue, in this case, the timing, because it takes time to put together an authorization and get and all that, is really an issue also.
So I actually have, so it came up last night where they want to know what other trucks are coming up for the capital budget throughout the years. So what we did is, we did this quite a while ago, and this goes out to, I want to say it's like 2050. So these are going to be hard to see. I'm going to try to.
We actually have the spreadsheet.
Yeah,
on the
we
ramp, so,
uploaded them
yeah.
on.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah, so if you guys look on the spreadsheet, you could see when the trucks are coming up, and we tried to space them out based on a 25-year life cycle.
So great presentation. So just to summarize, right? This is a truck that Easton owned, and this is an opportunity to get a new truck at a fraction of the price because we actually need
Correct.
it.
So if
Right.
we went out and we designed the truck, it would be a little bit different from this. This truck would work for us, but right now Orange just bought one 2 years ago, and they have to wait at least another year before it to come in. And their truck at that time was 2.1 million, and what we're looking at, it's probably going to be similar to that, but we'd probably be in the area right now of about 2.4 million. So that's why under that you could see $2.4 million number, but we'd also have to wait 4 years, and also there could be escalators built into those numbers.
And our existing ladder would be 40 years old at that.
4 years older, which won't last, which we're getting it fixed now, but once again, we're on borrowed time. So I do want to add one more thing. There is going to be a press conference on January 20th, and it's going to have Blumenthal. Basically, it's drawing the attention to what the fire apparatus cost is and delivery time and service. So it's basically going off the Hawley video that we talked about earlier, and he's going to be in Connecticut, and they're going to be talking about this because this is really a big problem in the fire service where everything's so expensive and the delays are killing everybody.
It seems to me, Chief, that the opportunity to get a truck like this for less money is a rarity.
It is. This doesn't happen often, and we're
If at all.
So we looked at even a used truck, and What was the date on that truck?
Yeah.
Was it 2006?
2006.
It was 375,000, so we're right there at the 20-year mark, 21-year mark, and you're gonna spend roughly $400,000 on that, and then we have to start right now looking where we're gonna be for the 25 years and replace that again. So this is a really good deal. Like I said, even if we went out and we bought something even lesser, we're still above the 1.9 million. So this is a really good deal. And I think if you talk to anybody in the fire service, they're gonna tell you the same thing.
What is this, I guess, what about this truck is not particularly a deal for Woodbridge? Because I think from what you,
No, if we were to spec out a truck, we'd probably go, because this truck is typically a lot more money than a conventional tower truck, so we wouldn't really go that way. We try to keep it here. What's nice about this truck, the truck is 40 feet, which it's 8 feet shorter than the current truck we have, so it's a lot more maneuverable.
And it will fit in the firehouse because you have one in there already.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
we have room. So this is a really good truck. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, we wouldn't look at it because of the cost of it.
understood.
And I just want to compliment you because we've been talking about this ladder truck for years, and we asked you.
We have.
And we asked
So-
you to go out and see if you could find something, and you found what looks to be amazing.
So we found the truck back in 2016, and it was basically the same truck. It was 3 years old at the time, and this is where truck prices were down. And this truck back in 2016 was brand new, was 1.5 million, where a regular tower truck was roughly around $1 million, 1.1. That truck, we actually made a deal. We came back to the Board of Selectmen, and then we went to the Board of Finance. The Board of Selectmen passed it, the Board of Finance did not. And we had that deal with all the equipment on the truck and everything for $910,000. So it just shows you back in 2016 where we were compared to where we are today. It's just the cost is just increasing. So, and we don't know where we're going to be in 4 years with the cost of anything. So if we buy something today for 2.4 million, when our line comes up, we could be at 2.6 million really quick. And it's not like you can't find $200,000 worth of equipment to cut off the truck because it becomes pointless at that point.
Do you know if there's other municipalities interested in this particular truck?
I don't. So we have a good relationship with the dealer. We use this dealer quite often. We bought our last truck that we had through the dealer. We deal with service with him, so it was a fluke. We had our rescue truck in there, and we had a fire in the generator, and they're doing insurance work. So I was on the phone. We had a meeting about it, about how we're moving forward and what the status of what that truck is. And he says, "Hey, why have you on the phone? Something just came across the desk today." And we started talking about it, and I was like, "I think this is perfect. We're really interested. Send me some paperwork on it," and then talked to Mika and Tony, and thought it was a good thing to pursue, especially for the cost.
You answered my question. I was going to ask how we found out about it. So it's a pre-existing relationship we have
It is.
with the dealer.
The
Yes.
disposal of the existing truck, like, what does that look like? What does that
So
cost?
what we would do is, our thought process is, we'd like to secure this truck and then take the other truck, we'll sell it, and whatever money we get in, we would take that money and put tools onto that new truck.
Most you would expect, as you said, 30 to 40,000?
I think we're gonna get, I think 30,000 is probably gonna be, I'm hoping 30,000 is gonna be the number. Remember, it's a 1992 truck,
Understood.
it's not in its prime, or it's already 34 years old. I'm hoping we're gonna get that, but once again, we don't know until we put it out.
Are there incremental, like, equipment costs and other things that need to be purchased to go with this truck?
No, so in the 1.9, it includes the lettering. They included the lettering. There's a lot of training that goes along with this truck, which is included in that number. Lettering,
Grill.
the grill, the front grill. Right now, what they do on the newer trucks, they actually engrave Easton, like we have it on our trucks. This is Woodbridge. they're backlit, but they have to replace that grill, so they figured all this in when they purchased the truck and they went out. So instead of doing, hey, the truck's gonna be 1.85 million, and then you have $50,000 worth of stuff to do it, what they do is they bundle as a package together. So a new grill is roughly $8,800 or $8,900, and then they figure in re-lettering the truck and doing all that. So that's all incorporated with that. So I'm not anticipating, we're not gonna exceed 1.9 million.
I saw you mentioned full warranty as well.
Yeah, and it comes with the full warranty. The warranty basically started when Easton took delivery of basically the end of June to now, so we're probably 6-7 months into the warranty, and the warranties are, depends on what part it is. It's 2-year bumper to bumper though.
Sean explained early on the circumstances around them having a brand-new truck and not using it. Tony did the due diligence with the municipality that had, so checked the records, checked the finances, and understood what it was. And as I think was mentioned, it was basically put in storage so as to retain as much value as possible.
Correct.
And Sean, I just have one question, just to clarify for people listening. We need this truck. We know we need this truck. We've been talking about it. But this truck doesn't necessarily solve any problems for 804 Fountain Street. Is that right?
This truck would help 804 Fountain, where we could get up closer to it and we can get up over it. This truck, if I go back, I'll show you what this truck has as a really nice feature. See that picture on the right? That's called a jib, where it comes down. So when I went and talked to planning and zoning at the time, we weren't anticipating anything like this. This would go over a parapet wall instead of having to jump over. So this truck has that added feature, which is a nice feature to have. But once again, when we talk about 804 Fountain, there's a lot of other issues to deal with.
I mean, again, I'm not trying to suggest that this isn't a good truck or anything else. I just want, for other people listening, to understand, oh, we just got you a truck. Why are we talking about 804 Fountain Street? I think the answer is there are other issues that have to be considered.
Sean, when I look at the schedule that you have here for the entire fleet, right? I see a 10-year amortization, it looks like, on the ladder, right? And then the other one that would come up this year, because it looks like we're going to be having another conversation, is a 7-year amortization.
So when we did this, like 6 months ago. The aerial truck is not this aerial coming up. What we did is we based it on 2.4 million, and we just spaced it out one roughly.
Right.
That if we were to order a truck, not this particular truck, and I just spaced it over a 10-year period. But once again, that would come back to you to figure out whether you want to do a 5-year, 7-year.
But the pumper was over 7. I didn't know if there was something.
So if you look down on the spreadsheet, if you go down to 2023, all the way to the last one, Rosenbauer pumper engine.
Yeah.
So that's the one we took delivery back in 2023, and we're paying for that. So we've already made, I think, a payment on it or two. And the next payment, which we're going to talk about in 2 weeks of capital budget, we owe the $228,608 on that truck this year and next year and all the way up to FY 29.
Right. So we did 7 years on that one.
You got it.
Okay. And none of this includes any of the debt service, the interest.
No, the last one does. The 228 does, but the other ones do not include debt service.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
The warranties, are they manufacturer warranties? Is that third-party warranty?
They're manufacturer warranties.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, Tony, can I talk about the ownership structure here? We're leasing.
Yeah.
Right.
So help me understand why we're not purchasing at this price, if that's the...
So in order to purchase it at this price, you'd have to issue bonds to get the cash to purchase it.
It's an
So
ownership lease.
That's good clarification. It's a capital lease,
Okay.
which means at the end, we own the truck.
Got it.
It's essentially a loan.
That's what I needed to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Good clarity.
that was a good point, yeah.
Any other questions?
Just going back to that, if you have time and are so inclined, that slide with the congressman, if you take the time to listen to that, even on a high speed, you get a real good sense of what's happening in the industry and how basically communities like ours are being held captive because they've consolidated the industry, so there's only 2 or 3 major players, and the pricing has just gone
The
skyrocketing.
problem is that, like you said, the price of trucks have it's just exploded to a point where how do you fund it, or what do you do? Or because we used to do 3-year leases, now we're at 5-year leases. Now we did a 7-year lease, and now possibly we're looking at a 10-year lease. And the thing that kills us even more is just the lead time. So when the truck fails, we can't go out and just get a truck in a year. We're waiting years to get a truck. So that's a really it's a hard thing to figure out what to do here. And even though they say your truck is going to be ready in 3 years, let's say an engine's 3 years, there's no guarantee. You used to be able to put a clause in there where if the truck wasn't delivered in 365 days, there'd be a penalty clause. Now there's no penalty clause. Basically, it's like when the truck is complete, then you get the truck. And this video, if you guys watch it, there's departments that have waited up to 5 years. So, and when you watch it, there's a department that they were promised the truck in X amount of days, and they are 280 days or 300 days. They couldn't wait any longer. They waited until like 570 days, and they had to go out and buy a used truck from a neighboring department until their truck was completed.
And Sean, it seems as if the aerial apparatus seems to be one that's less available in terms of either the used
The aerial
market.
apparatus takes the longest to manufacture.
But as we look at our projections, are the other pumper trucks, rescue trucks, things of that nature, are they more available even on the used market type thing as we go forward?
They are, but
To take a look at that?
They are, but remember now that trucks are taking so long to come in and they're costing so much. People are holding, even like in a department like New Haven that would change a truck like every 10 years. They may have to hold the truck for 13 years or 14 years. So now that's adding that much more on to the truck, and the used truck market is not that big because they're holding trucks because if you're buying a truck at 25 years old and the truck's not coming in for 28, it doesn't really make sense to do that. So there are a few around. I'm not saying there's not, but it's not like it was years ago where they're more readily available. And when they do come up, you need to act immediately. Because you could be fighting another municipality or 6 municipalities that say, let's just get the truck, or they have the money already set aside and they can act really quick on it, where
Which is
we don't
something
have
from
that
a,
ability.
considering the market, not only on these, but Tony, if I'm not mistaken, even on our heavy-duty public works vehicles and things of that nature, if we're going to try to take advantage of a used market, it's something that we have to have some sort of a process in place so that we are able to do to react quickly if there's an opportunity that presents itself. So it's something as the board may want to consider in putting something into place so that
You also gotta realize
if
on
you say
the,
it's activated,
so-
but at least there's something in place.
just to talk a little bit about it, and maybe Jimmy can talk more about it, but the newer trucks, when you buy a truck now, it's got the DPF on it, the new emissions filter, so the trucks are having more issues with that than like engine 2, which is gonna be coming up, and we're gonna talk about that in a couple weeks, but that next truck that's gonna be coming up, that doesn't have that DPF on, so we don't have a lot of problems with it, with the engine and everything else, but the newer trucks that are coming in, there are issues with the DPF and the new emissions standards on those.
Yeah, that's, from 2002, that's when the emissions have gotten a lot more stringent, and the government has decided to put all sorts of systems and things on these vehicles, and across the board, public and private and municipal. And it's been a nightmare from an engineer. I'm the chief engineer of the piece of everything, but from my standpoint, it's a nightmare. It's, you never know when you turn the truck on and there's a check engine light. stop engine, this, that. I mean, we've been lucky, but, I don't think it's getting any better.
It's just another thing that we have to deal with, so, when we talk in a couple weeks, like the next truck, not to talk about it, but the next truck, we do have the ability to possibly repower that truck and reutilize that truck for another probably 15 or 18 years, and put money into it, where instead of paying probably 1.3, 1.4 million, we might be able to do something with it, repaint it, rewire it, repower it. It doesn't have the DPF on it, which is a good thing, and we might be able to get away with spending $800,000 instead of 1.4. So we are looking at different things like that, and it is a discussion we're gonna talk about in a couple weeks. But once again, if we were to do something like that, you would have to figure out how we would pay for it. I mean, to repower the truck, we're probably looking at 8 to 12 months to do that type of job. But we would be able to get it done quicker and cheaper than buying a new truck.
Has the ladder truck ever been repowered? Our existing
This one,
to get it to this
no, it's
light?
it's
original.
yeah, it's too far gone to do something like that.
So, I mean, just from my knowledge, how did we get to the point where we had a truck that's 10 years past its life?
So we've been putting it into the budget
Yeah.
and talking about it, and every year it just keeps getting pushed out a year, pushed
For
out
10
a year.
years.
Yes.
Okay.
So if we go back into the budget, we can see it.
So the 25 years, and not that I don't think that this is
Mhm.
is important, but just so I understand, like the 25 years, is that a guideline? Is that a regulation? Is it?
Yeah, so if we go back here.
So, Sean, while you're doing that, I know these things take a while. In terms of how long is the dealer giving us before they put it on the market?
So I talked to the dealer a few weeks ago. I talked to him again today. He's holding it for us probably for another couple weeks, but I told him we would definitely have an answer next week.
Yeah, this is just a hunch of
Because-
mine. Let's save $500,000 and
This is something we
5
don't really
years.
want to wait on because
This is, the plan is, we're meeting as a joint board on the 20th for the first of our budget sessions. Is to put this item on the agenda as the first item on the agenda and identify, take action. We have to, in this case, we would have to do a bid waiver, as well as authorize us, Tony, myself, to sign a lease or negotiate and sign a lease.
Right.
And then, what was the third thing, Tony?
Just when you, on the lease recommendation, the terms.
Yes, the actual terms.
You said on the 20th, Mika?
That's next Tuesday. if I'm
Our
not
first
mistaken.
capital,
Correct.
Our first budget
operating
meeting,
capital
right.
budget
Correct.
We'll have that
presentation.
first on the agenda before
Got
that
it, okay,
budget.
thank you.
So Scott, if you look up here, it's NFPA 1911.
Yeah.
States apparatus over 25 years old should be replaced or removed from service.
Okay. But I mean, it sounds like that's a guideline and not a hard like
Mandate.
So here's the deal: we're not Connecticut's not an NFPA state.
Okay.
Okay, but if you don't follow NFPA guidelines, you're still held to that standard. Believe it
Okay.
or not.
And when you say we're held to that standard, what does that
So
mean?
if we don't follow what NFPA states and something happens or somebody gets hurt, we still have to answer for it why we didn't follow NFPA. So even though Connecticut's not an NFPA state, you still need to. It's like an unspoken thing. You have to. You better follow NFPA.
Right. So do we want to talk about the different terms, or should we show with a recommendation on the 20th?
On the 20th, yes, that's what I would do, is
On-
on the 20th, show up with the recommendation. If you have any other questions, you want me to run any other scenarios, I'm happy to do that. And so you can prepare for the 20th.
it's pretty good.
We also have an important point to make. We also have a truck coming off this year, which was think
It's a
it was
5-year
somewhere
lease
in
from
there. It was
2020.
$175,000.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
So that truck is coming, I thought I had to,
It was a
Almost the
5-year,
last-
yeah, it was a
second to
5-year,
last.
it was a 5-year lease. from
and we just
2020.
paid the last payment of it.
Yeah.
And hang on, it's coming up. Right here, up in the right-hand corner. The final payment for engine 3 was made in FY '25 or FY '26, I'm sorry,
26.
for $175,525.
Totally unrelated, but since I see you guys over there looking, are you able to see that screen?
Oh, I can see it.
See it
Yeah,
nice?
it's
Okay.
actually a lot clearer than last night and everything.
That's a-
Looks
We,
nice.
we have one in front of us now.
Yeah,
as
no,
well.
it's- I
Brand
think
new,
it's-
first
I
being
think it's really
tried
good.
out today. Well done, you guys.
Yeah, so.
Any more questions for Sean? All set?
Thank you for
Before you
coming
go,
down
Sean.
again.
Thank you.
Sean, unrelated question. My daughter asked me, why is a Naga fire truck brown?
So all departments, what's Bethany? Bethany is yellow and white. It's weird. It's department preference on what color the truck should be.
Ah.
So
Color?
we used to have
So
white
I
and
asked
red,
Sean.
now we're black and red.
Is Bethany yellow?
Bethany's yellow
Oh,
and
yeah,
white.
really?
So there, it was funny because the last truck they bought, or they were looking to buy, they were thinking about going all pink for breast cancer awareness and everything. So I can't imagine coming to you guys and saying we're going to buy a pink fire truck.
If the price is right, Sean.
What's the price on the pink one?
They can't give
Thanks,
those
Sean.
away.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Next item on the agenda, Tony?
Thank you. I have the monthly report through the first 6 months of the fiscal year, and it's a estimated year-end budget deficit of $63,000. So that leaves our fund balance at a little under $9 million, or 14.69% of our general revenues. In the revenue section, there's a shortfall in charge for services, and that includes a $60,000 loss on income for the the rental at the center due to the loss of the child center income. $70,000 in transfer station fees. When we created the budget, we were hopeful that we would increase fees. We're still talking about that at the Board of Selectmen, but at this point, that has not been done, and so therefore, we will most likely see a shortfall there, and $10,000 in senior fees. We do have some good news in revenues. The Board of Education received a $70,000 payment from New Haven. It was, we would recognize that as revenue in the current year because it was for prior year expenses. And we have a tuition revenue of $10,000 from Board of Ed staff. So if a staff member has a child and they're from out of town but they want to attend school at Beecher, they pay tuition. And so that's what that is. On expenses, we have a shortfall of electricity in the center building. It's mainly in the months of July and August, and it's because we air conditioned the gym. So we will most likely have to plan for contingency funding. Although I'd like to take a few more months to see if the department can cover it with some other lines, particularly gas, to see if we use all the natural gas this year. In the police department, we have a collective bargaining agreement that was ratified with the union. That was from 2023. So there are 3 years of retroactive wages and 3 years of increases for 2026. In other words, when we had the budget for 2026, it was the wages from 2023. So that shortfall, and this is in combination of, it's not the cost of that, but the shortfall in the department is about $280,000. And that's a combination of vacant positions, injured officers, and other items over time. And so I'm keeping a close eye on that department. There's a lot of factors that go into determining what the shortfall or surplus would be in a department of that size.
So I'm anticipating a combination of contingency and luckily Amity has reported a surplus. They're returning $305,000 from their 24-25 operations. So they'll reduce our 2026 payment. So therefore, we will pay them less, creating a surplus in their line item. So a combination of that, we can fund the police contract shortfall, and we will obviously reflect the new wages in the upcoming budget process.
Does that 280K catch us up, or is that shortfall going to continue to
No,
build until
that catches.
rebudget?
That's I
It's a
anticipate.
2-year catch-up, right?
It's a 3-year.
3 year,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, and that catches us up. In other words, I anticipate the rest of the year, what we're going to incur, and that's in that number. So that's why I have to guess, well, when are they going to hire the person? How are they going to do on overtime? There's another vacancy, and a non-officer position coming up, so that'll be a positive impact. So there's a lot of moving parts.
That's the rest of the fiscal year.
Rest of the fiscal year,
Thank you.
correct. That's why I have to wait a little, because I don't want to sort of commit all those. I'll keep them in reserve in our contingency and not spend it. But I'd like to wait a few more months to see how they do.
Tony, I thought I heard from the meeting last night, the transfer station, is that we're off because of usage, or did we anticipate a price increase?
We were hopeful to increase. So we have roughly 50% of our residents use a hauler. So we charge the hauler for their to come to the transfer station, and it's $90 a ton, I think.
Yes.
Right. And so we probably have to up that because our tonnage has increased and our hauling has increased. That's sort of an average. We try to estimate with what it costs per ton for us to haul garbage out of the transfer station to Bridgeport, where we bring it. And so that's sort of a blended rate of both the hauling and the tonnage that we pay. So both of those have gone up since we've last done this. So we definitely need to increase that, at least look at possibly increasing that. A number of other items that we charge, we should do a survey.
Did our tonnage come in under, or did we budget that we would get more per ton?
We budgeted that we would get more per ton.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Our
right.
tonnage is pretty, actually, if you look at throughout the year, I think it's 2,800. We're pretty consistent with our tonnage,
Okay.
interestingly.
So the volume's there, we just never got the price.
Right, we just never upped the price, right?
It's been, what, 4 or 5 years now?
Yeah, it's been consistently roughly the same
About
tonnage.
3 or 4 years since we raised it before the.
Oh, yeah, since we've
Yeah.
raised it, yeah, it's been 3-4 years.
And
And the rates keep going up on what they charge
Right,
us.
and the hauling, particularly the hauling keeps going up. And the rates have gone up just recently as the options for bringing garbage decreases.
Haulers have other options in the area where they can bring their tonnage, so you also want to consider that in terms of
It's
your
a
rate.
balancing act. You
It's
can't
a
make it
balancing
too
act.
expensive.
If you make it too expensive,
they go
they'll find the
elsewhere.
cheapest way to go, in which case, as you said, Scott, your tonnage will drop off. So,
Right. And you also want to make sure you're not the lowest one in the area, because
correct.
Then they'll all come.
garbage has a tendency to find its way to the cheapest
We
source.
found that out before we charged for it, if I remember
We
correctly.
did.
It's funny, you can actually lose money in garbage,
Right.
garbage business. So we're losing money, is what you're saying. We're losing.
Well, we're not collecting as much as we anticipated we would.
Okay. But we're making money. We're just not making as much as we.
We're
thought.
probably on the hauling for the, we were breaking even, we were a little ahead when we did this 3-4 years ago. My guess is we're a little behind.
Just in terms of the hauling.
The
and
hauling.
We don't charge at all for the residential, people who come to the transfer station, which is half of the tonnage we pay for,
Right,
period.
right, the other half, right, people
So-
that bring their garbage to the transfer station, obviously we don't charge at all.
Right. Any further questions? Good. Thanks, Tony.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda, funding requests. I see one,
We have one, correct?
and it's a line item transfer,
Yes,
252609 for $4,297, and this is transfer fees collected for 27 Beach Road application to the inland wetlands budget to pay consultants regarding this application.
That's correct. We charge the applicant, or the applicant pays a fee to cover the cost of any consultants that the town needs to evaluate the application. In this particular case, it's an engineering consultant and a soil scientist. So the applicant is paid the fee, and we then transfer that fee to cover the expenditure of the actual consultant. So it doesn't cost the taxpayers any money to perform that analysis.
The town hires someone to perform the analysis.
Correct. The
and
town hires the
applicant
person and the
has to
applicant
pay
pays
for it.
for it, right.
I'll make a motion to approve line item transfer 2526-09 in the amount of $4,297.
Second.
All in favor? All right.
I just wanted to, of this Board of Ed, go ahead, I'm sorry. I wanted to just mention one other thing in your packet. It's just for an FYI, not really for discussion, but FYI. We found that the town of Derby, or the city of Derby, rather,
Yeah,
has a homestead, or starting their journey on a homestead
I saw that. Yeah.
program. So I included that in the packet, just so you can take a look at their materials. And I think they're in the process of creating the ordinance, so there's not specifics, but.
And again, I'm hoping from a selectman standpoint, from my standpoint, that the Board of Finance will assist in evaluating. There seems to be more interest
Yeah.
in this, particularly for those folks who have not gone through revaluation yet. And the Board of Finance will actually start looking at this and trying to assess exactly what we could do to leverage it to balance some of what was impacted here in our town.
Yeah, I quickly looked at it, and I guess one thing that jumped out at me, the requirements didn't seem like there was a income limit. Maybe I missed it.
They didn't put very
I don't-
requirements. They
yeah, no, there
almost-
weren't too
they
many
almost just
requirements.
listed
Yeah, they just listed, it was pretty
just-
sparse.
Yeah. So,
All right, thanks. It's a good start. I like it. Item number 5, discussion around budget strategies in the process. I quickly took a look at the rest of the budget presentation and the dates, and I think it's laid out pretty well in terms of, we have Amity on one day. Actually, we don't have Amity and we don't have Beach on the same day.
Right,
Which is
that
great.
was a request.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you.
so, other than that, I mean,
When we put that together, we try to even out the presentation, so it's not heavily.
You're not sitting there for 1 hour for
Right.
3 hours and the next night 45
Right.
minutes.
Correct.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right, balance it better, that's
And
helpful.
we have operating and capital when we used to split them, which in some ways I think was better because they were separate and a lot less information at once. But
In terms of the dates, the next 2 weeks, I'm traveling for work. So if we could talk about it either now or afterwards, I'd like to know how I can submit feedback, what the best mechanism for doing that is, or at least to get my questions out there.
Is there a way she can attend without?
you could
attending?
certainly attend virtually.
I can't,
If
I can do that.
if any of the
second
nights you
week, I
can.
think.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can certainly have you on virtually for the second week.
Yeah, that's fine, because I'm on the
And-
West Coast, so it'll be in the middle of.
And in the first week, I believe they're taped, so
Yes.
you can, if you want to watch them, and then provide us with questions, we'll forward them to the department,
Okay,
and we'll also circulate your questions so the whole board sees them,
thanks.
and then we'll get you answers.
Wonderful.
So for process, do we get a pre-read with what the request is going to be?
Yes, so,
We already have it in the.
so you've all been given an invitation, I'm glad you brought that up. I've sent an invitation to everybody from ClearGov,
Yep.
which is our online budget application.
Okay.
If there's one invitation for capital, one for operating. If you didn't get it, let me know, I can
didn't
resend it.
Yeah.
I
And
got it, but I didn't open it yet.
it's okay. And
I will, I promise.
and once you log in and get a login and a password, it gives you access to both. And then it's all it's a virtual platform. I'm happy to go through with anybody and show you how it works. In addition, Karen is also creating a PDF version of all of the documents. There's a little bit more detail in the ClearGov, but most of the information will be in PDF form as well. So if you're more comfortable with that format, you can use that as well.
And for Christina's sake, if you look at, I'm giving you work, if you look at it before you travel and you have questions.
You could, right. If you see something before the meeting, you send it to me and we can ask it at the meeting.
That's awesome. Thanks.
So clarify, because I think I have access to ClearGov last year. So
Yes.
I won't get a new. I think I'll just.
I sent you, because you have to send it, you have to invite, you had an account already,
think
but I
so.
had to invite you to the new budget year.
Yeah.
Did
You need a new
everyone,
one.
so you didn't get yours?
I didn't receive it,
I don't
and I'm
think-
traveling tomorrow through
Alright, I'll
Monday,
have
so
to-
if
I'll
you
have
can
to-
get
I'll resend it for you,
PDFs,
sure.
and you can
Or-
Oh, the
flip them to
PDFs
me.
will be put on the share drive,
Okay.
this, that you all have access to.
Right.
But I'll happy to resend you the ClearGov. It's a little more interactive, you can like
Yeah, that's fine.
filter
I'll be
and
on
stuff.
planes and
Right, so
stuff.
you
So, like a PDF
Right.
would probably be easier
Right.
if you have it. Just,
But if you like to play around, you
Way to
can
kill
sort by
time.
right,
account number, sort by object
Maybe
code,
take a
sort by.
nap.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Along the lines of questioning, et cetera, Tony.
Sure, yes. Yeah.
I've got a question and then also just a kind of an acknowledgement or observation. First of all, the Board of Finance indicated that they wanted the cost centers, the department's cost centers, to provide a report on what the budgets would be with zero, or what the implication of the budgets would be.
Right.
They all know that
Everyone
there's
has done
coming in a, and so that'll be more at the point of discussion. So that, Christina, if you're not here, Scott, if you're not here, that's the thing that you might want to watch. And,
Okay.
because that's something that the only time it's going to be done is here. There's no
Yeah,
documentation.
I'll be here. I just, in terms of prep.
Got it,
on
got it.
The rest
So-
of it, I just kind of wanted to.
I also need the ClearGov.
Oh,
I have
yep.
your message. I don't have the
Yep.
invitation.
I
Okay.
have the same thing. I got the original. I got your email saying it was coming, but
I bet you it got in
Oh, I bet you got
spam.
filtered, yeah.
Probably got
Yeah,
filtered in
I think
spam.
it-
could be.
I don't think there were
Because
4 emails.
there's maybe half of the group has signed on already. So some people have received it. But I will send it again tomorrow.
So we'll look for it tomorrow. And if we
Yeah.
don't have it, we'll.
Mhm.
Please don't leave town.
You reserved yours, right?
I received 4 emails related to it, haven't done anything.
Okay.
with
You
it
got
yet.
mine then.
Probably mine as well.
Good one, you're
Did-
killing me.
Did,
I don't
I'll
see it in
share.
there either.
Javier, did you get
We're
an
friends,
email
it's
from- yeah.
okay.
I did.
Yep, good.
I don't see it in there either, but.
All right, the next item on the agenda is proposed Board of Finance regular meeting dates. I don't know if everyone has had the opportunity to look at this. It's mimics every single year, right? Every month and on the
Yes.
second Thursday or third Thursday of the month.
Yes, that's correct.
Right?
And, yeah,
And
with
this-
no August meeting,
no
which has
August,
been
month of
the
August.
tradition.
Yeah. So, do you want us to vote on this, or?
Yes, please. Then we'll file it with the town clerk.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting dates for the Board of Finance for calendar year 2026 as presented.
1 second.
All in favor? Okay, perfect. Let's move to approval of the minutes on November 20th, 2025, and on December 30th, 2025. Any issues, changes? None? So I'll make a motion to approve those.
I'll second it.
Second, all in favor, go ahead. And next,
I'm going to abstain because I wasn't at one of the meetings, so I can't vote on both.
okay. Javier abstain. Next item on the agenda, first selectmen's report. Mika,
Few things. First, I'll start off by making sure everyone here knows, and again, letting the public know that Warren Connors is retiring at the end of January. There will be a get-together for Warren on Thursday, the 22nd of January, from 12 to 2 here in the meeting room, for those who might want to just stop in and say congratulations. I'd also like to let folks know that Karen Crosby will be, our administrative assistant, will be retiring in March.
Wow.
And also wanted to mention, I just met yesterday with the Police Commission, and Andy Esposito is retiring and was not reappointed because he felt he wanted to retire, and just wanted to put a shout out to Andy and just basically thank him for his service for the many, many years that he's done many different functions here in town. Certainly meant a lot, and certainly learned a lot from him. Also wanted the community and yourselves to know that, to keep in mind that the Daily Bagel opened up down on Amity Road, in the old UPS building, for folks who know where that was. It opens at 6 a.m. and we will probably be they're deciding when and if they would like to do a grand opening type of a thing. Right now they have opened. So we're starting to get into the budget season, as you folks already know. And I recently attended a Heroes Tunnel public session with the DOT, just outlining some of the particulars as relates to the construction plan for the Heroes Tunnel over the course of the next 2 to 4 years. They are asking for the public for any input they might have, and you can go to their website, and if you go into our website, you'll see an area where you can click on it and submit some information or get some information. In addition to that, there's also work that the DOT has been planning for us on Route 69 itself, Litchfield Turnpike. And that work is also planned for around the same time. So that public session will be held on February 3rd. And obviously the biggest question that we've already asked them is to be prepared to let us know how that folds into what they're doing on the Heroes Tunnel. It's a lot of activity in a very small area. But the good news is we don't want to necessarily say, hey, why don't you hold off on this, because we've been waiting anxiously for them to do
Is this
something.
a real deal this time?
This
You
is
think
a significant
How many
deal.
iterations have we been through?
a lot.
Yeah,
20,
but what
30
they're
years
doing,
of
what I've seen
pretending.
on the plan is
Wow.
that the plan is for them to close the northbound ramp to the Merritt Parkway on Pond Lily. So right now, if you're going northbound, you would get in the left lane, take a left-hand turn, and they're gonna close that. And then they're gonna build a new entrance to the northbound ramp along the side of where you get off the exit. If you're heading northbound and you're getting off exit 46, previously exit 49, they're gonna build a ramp that goes around that way. So basically, if you're getting onto the Merritt Parkway northbound, heading toward Hampton in north, you would actually be on the right lane, continue through, you can take a right-hand turn on red. They're also, one of the other significant plans is they're also looking to upgrade and update the traffic light systems that are along, right near the Merritt Parkway, so as to synchronize them better in terms of allowing more traffic to flow. So we'll see it when they present it, but it's the traffic levels. They have letters that represent different things, and it goes from a C to a B or C to an A, that type of thing there. And apparently there's going to be a significant, they anticipate a significant improvement in terms of traffic. So that's rather significant there. But at the same time, our business district connectivity plan will be taking place in 27, 28. So there's a
Everything
lot,
happening at once.
that's another DOT project. So we're trying to coordinate with them. It was like they weren't doing anything, and now they want to do everything. So it's we've got to stay in constant communication with them, because as I say, when they do want to do the work, you don't want to inhibit it.
Meek, I couldn't make it. Did they say anything about what that new entrance ramp would actually look like to get on? Because, some of the Merritt Parkway entrance ramps are so short that.
It also includes deceleration and acceleration lanes, so they're actually widening the area that leads onto and leads, and like, for example, even the exit ramp on southbound
Right.
for our exit 46, previously 49, they're actually going to widen that area, which means bridge work in order to widen that area, so there's a greater, there
So
is
it'll be
actually a
completed by
deceleration.
2080.
It's a long time and it's a
Start
lot
it
of
in
money.
2030 and finish it by
It's amazing
2080.
what the expected expense will be on that.
Mika, will there be like an impact to the businesses that are there? I
Yes.
feel like,
We feel that, well, in terms of, it depends on what they do. They've indicated no. The work will only be done from 10 PM to 6 AM.
okay.
So they're anticipating, and, there was questions about noise levels and things of that nature, all of which they addressed to some degree. They're using very high-tech technology in terms of, from what I understand, in terms of the tunnel project. In our project, we don't know yet all the details, but that's what we'll find out at the information center, information session on the 3rd.
Not to take up too much of your time. Mika,
That's fine.
Can you remind us what the business connectivity plan is?
Business Connectivity Plan is approximately an $8 million grant that we received. It's a local transportation type of a grant. It's for beautification and safety, sidewalks. It includes sidewalks. It includes beautification. It also includes traffic calming measures, things of that nature. One of the things we had hoped and we had really pushed extraordinarily hard for was an additional traffic light at Bradley, which they continue to reject.
And it has a multimodal path.
It does have what
It does
they
have a
refer to as a
multimodal
multimodal path,
gonna be
which in
great.
my mind is a very wide sidewalk, very wide sidewalk. So,
It sounds fancy though.
but it does sound
Sounds so
very
much
good.
better.
And they're doing it in such a way as if New Haven wants to do something, it can connect to New Haven to make it longer, and where we can also apply, and we will, for a phase 2. So that will, we hope, incorporate some work that we can do on connecting trails into our business district and do some, and we're looking for a local grant to do a little bit more sidewalks in terms of the side streets, because this will not cover sidewalks on the side streets except for Lucy and Bradley. But it is basically a sidewalk structure that goes from our border with New Haven on Amity Road, all the way up to Bradley Road, and also down Lucy Street, and also down Bradley Road. On Bradley Road, it'll include some crossing ramps, which means it's a walkway that's raised a little bit and very clearly marked so that people can get from our assisted living facility across the street where there's commercial properties. It will make that business district look better, and it'll make it significantly more walkable and safer. In terms of what they're doing as far as, like the crosswalks will be the red brick, pressed brick, or pressed concrete, whatever you want to call it.
So I can have dinner at Salone and walk to my girl creamery and have ice cream?
Exactly, there you go, exactly right, exactly right.
You could bike,
So-
you could roller, you know.
rollerblades.
You're already starting to see more folks walking
Yes.
because of Toll Brothers,
Yes.
right? There's more pedestrian traffic down there.
And it will be a focus for us, for the Board of Selectmen in particular, and TPZ and EDC, who will be working together more. That's part of what I was going to say. I'll just jump to that quickly. Jeff Kennedy attended our meeting yesterday, and we're looking to collaborate significantly more with them than we have in the past, to make sure that we're thinking about things along those lines. Scott, exactly. So is to identify what zoning might need to be changed in order to continue to keep that growth. Toll Brothers is adding a lot, but there's certainly potential for more. Wanted to remind everyone that the tax relief ordinances went into effect, the expanded and increased tax relief ordinances were effective earlier this month. So we expanded the minimums as far as the incomes are concerned, as well as the actual credits themselves. We do have a flyer that we're going to put online. We are going to try to make it we're going to try to make sure that as many people as possible are aware of it, so that those people who do qualify and could really benefit from it, use it.
When will we see because we had this whole discussion about how much money it was going to require. When do you expect to, I mean, I know the bills are due the end.
May 15th is when if I'm not mistaken, when the applications close.
Right.
So
Shortly thereafter, we will know.
we'll know how many people, and we can make some calculations after that.
We put a cap, we'll put amount in the budget,
Right.
and then we'll have to react if it's more.
Correct.
Right.
Tony and I have been working with Human Services and the Recreation Department on potentially combining those departments into a community services type department. We don't necessarily feel that it'll be changed immediately, but we are looking at it from the budget perspective in terms of what we can do from that, how it would look from a budget perspective as well.
So are we gonna get separate?
So they're submitting separate requests as they always would, but we're anticipating that possibly this board could, during your budget deliberations, contemplate a community services budget.
So when you say, is that
You can
the Board of Finance who would do that, or is that Board of Selectmen first and then the Board of Finance?
Yeah.
or-
Yeah, we'll present it to the board, get their Board of Selectmen, excuse me, and review it with the board, make sure that they concur with it, and
Right.
then provide it to you.
And we could, in theory, if nothing happens up there, that we could, in theory, send back a suggestion.
Correct. Correct, what we would be looking for. Same holds true to some degree with the First Selectman and Finance Department, where we're gonna kind of look at a little bit of restructuring from that perspective with Karen going, see what opportunities and I can tell you from a staffing perspective, we're challenged in terms of doing some of the things that we really need to do, so there'll be some things there for consideration that this board will have to weigh in on.
Does that factor in some of the feedback that we received from the auditor, which seemed to allude to the fact that staffing was maybe, could be bumped up?
Yes.
That's on
That was on
the
education.
Beaches.
Oh,
Beaches School.
You're talking about
I'm
two
We're
sorry.
gonna
I
take
was talking
advantage of
about
it,
the
Christine.
auditor in general and the Board of Selectmen
That was specific
office
to
and
the.
stuff. Yeah, yeah.
But it is along those lines, we'll look to justify it, and there's some things there that we could use.
To clarify, there are two audits, one for the school and one for the town.
Got it.
Board of Selectmen concluded the bulk of the town board and commission appointments, as well as the Board of Selectmen subcommittee appointments. And charter revision was initiated, and a committee selected. And the next step is for us to put out some timelines and some dates, but the charter revision process is officially underway.
How long is that anticipated to go, the whole process? Is it required to be a certain amount? Or?
No, it's not necessarily. I think they said there's 15 months is like a target, but if ideally, since anything like this, any real change would have to go to a vote, a machine vote. Ideally, it would be to have that done at an election. So November remains like the target. And depending on how things go with the committee, we'll determine whether or not, that's feasible or it's not
I
feasible.
know that's not a finance-related question.
So,
but I
no,
wanted
that's
to
fine.
ask.
That's fine.
Thanks.
But it is very important, so.
Yeah.
And any questions? That's it for my report.
Thank you,
If I
Nico.
can make a request, I don't know if it's appropriate at this point, but when we get into the budget process, I know we've discussed the legal fees and a town attorney versus our current situation. In terms of how much money we've been spending on legal fees and whether it,
Tony, you can address whether, where we are as relates to this year's budget. What I'll say in terms of next year's budget, we need to increase it.
Yeah, we're running a little.
I'm assuming it was sort of an experiment, and so I'm assuming we had a little bit more legal
Yes.
things that we need. And I'm just sort of curious, at what point is it feasible or realistic to sort of think about, do we want to do an hourly rate versus, our older system where we had an on-salary?
We have our town council, Bertram and Moses, is on a retainer.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but we pay hourly, if I
And then
understand
we
that.
do pay outside of what would be considered normal town business. If there's particular projects or for example, 804 Fountain Street, and I should have mentioned, Jeff also advises that there have been 3 lawsuits that have been filed as appeals. So things like that, that's additional expense beyond the retainer. So in any of those types of things, that's what we really need to look at from a budget
Correct.
standpoint for next year.
I was just curious, because I mean, again, I probably am wrong about this, but I'm gonna try it. So when Jerry was our town attorney, we paid him a salary.
Yes.
And he dealt with all
Retainer.
town things, and then if there was something else, he would say, you know, we need
Yep.
an attorney for the TPZ to look at whatever. We then switched over from a salary benefits to a retainership.
So
Nope.
when we paid Jerry, he was not on payroll. We paid
No,
him.
it's not payroll.
It wasn't, okay.
No,
It's a
we paid him
retainer.
as a retainer.
So we paid him
Same
by
way
his
we
hours.
paid Bertram and Moses.
Right.
Okay,
Right, and it's a profession, it's considered professional services.
Right,
right.
Like what we do with consultants and things of that nature.
okay, thanks. I just want to know how we were doing on it.
Yeah, it's,
A little hard to tell when we have so many fun legal matters coming up.
Great point, Tom, thank you. Liaison reports?
I have one thing, I finally got back into the swing with the Board of Fire Commissioners, and I attended their meeting on January 5th, and we saw this presentation, and it's wonderful. I think they did a really good job, thanking the fire department for that, but the only thing is, the commission did vote unanimously to forward this to us as 1.9 million to both the Board of Selectmen. They approved the whole thing, so. There's their recommendation that the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance go forward with this truck.
Yeah, I think it's a tremendous opportunity.
Yep.
But
And I'll just say that, having been reappointed, thank you, I've reached out to the superintendent, so I'll start having regular meetings with them for a teacher. And I don't know, are we setting up a meeting about their budget, or are we gonna wait till they present at this point?
gonna wait until they present it. They did ask about that.
They did. Actually, they said they were going
Yeah.
to reach out.
They said they would reach out with concurrence to the liaison, which I guess is
So
you.
I'm trying to set it up early next
So-
week, so,
Because they
yeah.
were going to reach
They-
out.
So
to you.
they're looking to reach out prior to.
okay.
you did see the preliminary
I think they
budget.
were going to reach out to you, actually. Did they reach out to you?
No, yet.
No.
not yet.
Yeah, I thought they
The
were.
intent, the superintendent indicated he would reach out to Donovan to confirm who the liaison
Who the
is
liaison is, right.
and ask the liaison for a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And I was at the Amity meeting on Monday, and the budget is going up like 2.6%, which is lower than last year. They've done a tremendous job trying to keep it low.
what's our piece?
Our piece,
I have that, actually.
We're
It's-
sitting down, yes.
No, it's actually pretty low. I had to look at it a couple times.
Seatbelts, please.
Because
we went up like
Ay, ay, ay.
6.
I had to look at it a few times because
We've been trying to project based on Beecher enrollment, from what, to try to project. And
So
this is
the total budget goes up 2.21%, and ours is 2.59%.
6, sorry. Okay.
Still
Beecher
better
is
than
a
it has
little
been. Beecher's a bit more,
Beecher's
yeah,
a
so we're gonna have to work on that one.
Bethany's 3.82, so Bethany's went up higher.
Do we know what the contract increases are for Amity? Right, so we know the Beecher contract is always roughly 3%, right? Like 2.
Oh, you mean the wage increases for?
Yeah. What's built into 2.2, right,
Right,
is probably as a contract increase.
It's a lot
right,
higher.
I'm sure, yeah.
Right.
It's a lot higher. I think they reduced some repairs in terms to bring it kind of offset.
Okay.
I thought they were over 3 actually, in terms of their, somewhere up in that area, in terms of their wage increases.
Absolutely.
Looks like they got a lot of additional revenue here. Did they mention what that is? Is it grants or something? Or do you know?
I forget.
Yeah.
For an interesting presentation.
Interest income.
Yeah, see here, it's like up 26%, other revenues.
I don't think Amity's doing that report for the 0.
No, I doubt it.
Obviously because of the other towns involved.
Okay. So Beecher. I don't know, Javier, if you want to, Javier, I don't know if you want to dive into the garbage. If you want to liaison that, that seems like there's.
Public Works is a,
I'm totally confused.
Sorry. So
liaison.
Yeah, so we're figuring out, some of the line items of some of the departments that need a little bit, you know, just maybe a second set of eyes to kind of dive into the numbers a little bit. We isolated Beecher, we isolated Amity,
Fire.
And fire.
Beth's
and
fire.
Fire. And if you, got any, suggestions or recommendations in terms of departments you feel that,
The cost center is the next biggest is
I know the
PD and the
transfer
Public
stations, a
Works.
little public works and stuff, that type of stuff.
You're talking about liaison?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, because Public Works doesn't have a,
No liaison.
the meeting, right? You want to look
Yeah.
for someone to go to the police
So we have
commission,
a director,
Commission,
right? Yeah.
it would be police commission.
Or rec.
Or human services, right?
Human
Dive into-
services,
Dive
library.
into their budget a little bit and see, it's kind of a lot for just one person to look at. Have a set of eyes to kind of dive in deep into it, to the weeds.
Think about it, we don't put them on the
Just
spot.
think about
Yeah.
it, think about it.
Same for Scott and Christina,
Yeah.
right? Just think about if there's
Yeah, I mean, do we
commission.
know which ones are open? Don't have a liaison?
Rec, human services, and police are the three
Okay.
that I can think of.
Library?
Library and library,
And
those are the
library.
four that have
Yeah.
commissions and
To have
don't
commissions, right.
necessarily have liaisons.
I'm happy to liaise with police.
Okay.
Bob Scalatar is the chair, so
Just reach out to them.
he would be the one to reach out to.
Okay.
All right.
Would the other two go together, rec and human
I-
services?
I would suggest that if we
That's
could.
what I was.
Although it's, you know, it's challenging in that it's two different meetings,
Two
two
different
different
meetings.
days.
Yeah,
You know, so.
that's all you
so-
need in your life, right, is more meetings.
Although,
Yeah.
Sorry about
given
that.
the fact that we're looking at combining.
That's what I'm saying, it's gonna be one meeting.
Good.
If we pull it off correctly.
No, it's a good idea.
I mean, they're online, so if there's the ability to
Yep.
listen in, then I'm happy to.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right,
So that leaves, not even public works, that leaves library and, yeah, library.
Library.
the libraries.
And I said that, but I think my husband
Although
may
I welcome
be
an
doing
opportunity to talk
rec,
to anybody
so
for finance in
maybe
regards to
is
public
that
works,
some
even
sort of
without a
conflict?
commission.
I don't know.
I don't know. Is it a conflict if,
I'm sorry?
Conflict of interest.
if you have a spouse on a commission, not that I do, but is it a conflict if a member of the Board of Selectmen or Board of Finance, I'm trying to be general
Yeah.
about this,
That's okay.
I
wants
would-
to be the liaison or should,
It would be easier to avoid. It's not hard to avoid, so I
Happy to
prefer.
avoid.
Yeah, I prefer to avoid it.
Having volunteered, you found a good excuse to.
Walk right off that.
I'd rather avoid any appearance, so.
yep, there you go. So you could take library, no,
Library.
there
Yeah.
you,
That's fine.
Library?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
And if we need somebody for human services
Yeah.
and rec, I can probably add on if Javier is.
I mean, human services is a very important, department. You
We
wanna-
could talk offline, we'll figure out
Okay.
how we're gonna cover it.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
second.
Second?
I vote against that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw something at you.
Sorry, it took me 30 minutes.